I think it should be said.
So should we trust Q and trust the plan?
No, he's the one that said he talked to Q. You know he said that, Rob. You know he said that on air. He said, I talked to Q, okay? He did.
Who, Jones?
Yes.
And I was separately told this by QAnon. So I'm going to say again, I've talked to QAnon.
100%.
I think that was a joke when he said
No, he was dead serious about it. Yeah, listen, that was not a joke. And that's the other thing.
We've been attacked by Q.
Listen, I'm not... Do you think I believe in Q? Do you think... Hold on. Do you think that every video I've done regarding Q
debunking
is
Q.
not only debunking it, telling people not to believe in imaginary message boards? All right.
Oh, well, Alex is on the board of Q. Yeah, I guarantee he's making a joke when he says that.
No, that he didn't. It was during a rant talking about Trump, and then he said, I talked to Q, okay? I don't think it was a joke, man. It was not in a joke context.
Okay.
All right?
QAnon is totally real. QAnon is totally real. As Zach and our, Cape Canaveral sources and Space Command sources have pointed out, and people make jokes about that, but that's the 18th agency. You're here. This is big. We'll be right back on the other side with our real QAnon. Stay with us. QAnon.
Amazon?
I know you know QAnon's identity, but
yes,
obviously we're not going to, and I've confirmed as well, QAnon is a group in the Pentagon.
And very close to Donald Trump, military intelligence, specifically Army intelligence, I believe. And I've affirmed, working with the people who run the monitored 8chan, QAnon has been using the same trip code, the same IP addresses for his devices. It's the same Q from the very beginning. And when we were decoding him, it was so bizarre. We were decoding
But
Q.
see, you're playing coy here. You know QAnon, so do we. Let's just leave it at that. The point is that Zach is part of the same group, but he's with NASA, and that is the beginning. And QAnon said that 2 weeks ago, and we know who QAnon is, and we play coy about that, but it's Army intelligence and some groups in Florida and others.
Real quick, I was listening to Dr. Corsi last night and about all the stuff on 8chan and how releasing, is that kind of like the ace in the hole, to get
I've been told by 5 different Pentagon sources, high level, that whole 8chan thing is real and that they're basically forecasting what they'd like to see happen and giving you information. But so that's definitely real. And that's why Corsi's been, I'll let you know because the enemy knows. The White House directly asked Corsi to be on the 8chan beat a month ago. So, and that's directly from the White House.
Dr. Corsi is so smart. And then one other thing,
but what does that say about QAnon? Whether it's, we're being told by the White House, please cover this. So what does that tell you?
QAnon started right as I was finishing the book. He started posting. And so that the lunch was to recruit me to get me interested in following this, that this was a real phenomenon, that this was the first time this level of this level of intelligence had been shared with the public, and that the format was, on the 8chan was exactly kind of the deep, way to share it with the Anons that had been chosen by Trump as the way this message was going to get out. And they wanted me to get involved in it. And that's when I did the first decodes. As soon as I started looking at them and realizing what Q was saying, and I did a couple of decodes, then I understood what was going on. And so by Christmas time, I was then willing to commit to do it. And that's when I told the people who'd asked me that I said, yes, I'll do it. So that's that chronology.
Yeah, breaking exclusive news from Dr. Jerome Corsi and his extensive connections in the Middle East, where he served as an advisor to the State Department and more, in a lot of classified areas we can't get into. He has major breaking news exclusive right now. Dr. Corsi, thanks for giving Infowars the exclusive.
Well, Alex, it's great. I'm actually today in Nashville, Tennessee, and working with a really important cybersecurity company. And I just got text from top intelligence in Israel. Israel has nominated Donald Trump for the 2017 Peace Prize. He was nominated last year. There's about 200 nominations, but this is in advance of Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit with Trump
which is coming up in the next few days. And Israel has decided to make this nomination basically on the decision to move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem and the fact that Donald Trump has had the courage of his convictions. Again, another promise in the campaign being fulfilled, taking, I think, an historic, maybe even biblical step to legitimate the state of Israel. And the way I read the Bible basically says those who help Israel, God helps, and Donald Trump's on the right side here.
Well, certainly providence that he invoked during the inaugural speech is with our republic. And of course, England began to help the Jews when they were being persecuted going back 1,000 years ago in Europe. And of course, it's been known since then. That's why England had so much great providence. And also, of course, the Christian faith and Christ being number one. But that covenant has clearly been passed on, not just to all the Gentiles of the world through Christ, but particularly to England and the United States. Historians, even people that are anti-Western, have marveled that the United States of America has a special providence, Dr. Corsi.
Yes, well, even while we're talking, I mean, Israel, I just got another text message. I said we were going to break the news on Alex Jones' Infowars broadcast. They said one word. They said, great. They're thrilled we're going to break the news on Alex Jones' Infowars. And that comes directly from a source who's really above Mossad and the intelligence structure in Israel.
Yeah, so folks are really getting things raw here on air now.
Yeah, and so this is really, I mean, this is coming in as we're talking.
Yeah, so folks are really getting things raw here on air now.
How did you get Donald Trump on your show prior to the election? How did you pull that off?
All right, I never tell this on my own show, and this will probably end up being news tomorrow, but you deserve it. I know folks that are part of Delta Force, and I know people that are part of covert action in the Defense Department and the CIA. And quite frankly, they've given me authorization to talk about this. I have never been in the CIA. I have never been part of covert operations, but I was basically contacted by groups inside the Special Forces operations in Florida, inside breakaway groups inside the Central Intelligence Agency, and groups basically behind American industry that wanted to defeat the globalists and they're planning to bankrupt America. And so they told me that they were advising Trump on the globalist takeover and that they understood from their demographics and their studies that we actually had conservatively 15 million people a week visiting Infowars.com and tens of millions watching our videos, and that they had briefed the president, or now then candidate Trump, and that they wanted to attempt a counter coup against the globalists.
But this is what got Donald Trump to say, I got to be on this guy's show?
Donald Trump was advised by the Special Forces Command out of Florida. They said
to go on your program.
I mean, that's who actually. I mean, let's just say it. The enemy already knows all this. Let me just say, so everybody listening knows I'm telling the truth. Special Operations Command in Florida, the Delta Force, Army, Black Ops. It's Army's the oldest thing in America. It's before the Constitution, anything. They said, sir, you need to go with Alex Jones. And you need to rally the troops, and they briefed him. They showed him the documents, and they said, "We need you to run." And the Delta Force basically asked Trump. Delta Force, founded by General Boykin and Schumacher and people like Dr. Steve Pachenik of Psychological Operations of the CIA.
Dr. Pachenik, again, I mean, you don't do a lot of other interviews. You've been nice to come on my show for 15 years. It's on record with General Boykin and with Schumacher. You helped found Delta Force, Black Ops, ran psychological warfare, overthrown 8 countries. You're the Jack Ryan character. Co-wrote books with Clancy, Hollywood producer. You've done it all. Psychiatrist, MIT scientist, military officer, all that secret, obviously, in your history. But here you are saying you represent the intelligence community, and I check with people, generals, colonels, they go, absolutely, Pachenik's on target. That's exactly what all our sources from the FBI and the Pentagon, which means the CIA connected Pentagon, that's special operations, that's what they told us. And these are the good guys that continue to give us good info. Doesn't mean the whole thing's good. Infowars is the tip of the spear, the tip of the spear, the tip of the spear. Oh, Alex Jones is wrong about Anthony Bourdain. Hey, Joe, I talked to the people that were there in the production at the highest levels. They're involved in the Pentagon, everything else. I know all about it. Elon Musk. I mean, Joe, I'm not going to tell you, who I talked to yesterday or who I talked to this afternoon. So just let's quit pretending that we aren't the tip of the spear. Let's quit pretending that we aren't the tip of the spear. 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 The tip of the spear.
They basically delivered the message to Trump with all the dossiers and all the proof of what was happening. And he just said, you're highly recommended. All I can say is we're going to be talking a lot more because he was being briefed by top generals. I'm not going to say the name on what we're doing. And it's not that I'm even special. I'm willing to say this. I'm willing to do this. I wasn't directed by anybody. I was just aware of the operations. I was studying it. As you know, you're a Navy guy yourself. And we just did what we had to do. We did a counter coup against them. I'd say 90% of the CIA, defense intelligence, military, special ops is behind us. George, you're getting the absolute data dump right now.
So there's a real war going on in the elite right now. Don't think Trump just did this on his own. He was recruited by patriots and U.S. intelligence agencies, for a fact. Trump was recruited by the U.S. Army. That's a big secret, but you deserve to know what the Democrats already know. You deserve to understand what's really going on. There's a civil war in America right now. One group wanted to totally sell out the communist Chinese. That's coming up in the next segment. The other group isn't out to rape America completely. So you're kind of stuck between that.
I can't believe I'm telling this right now. I'm just going to go all the way right now. And the situation in Syria and Egypt and our friends in Israel. You say people want to demonize Israel all day. It's because the real folks that are in Israel, the real people, understand what it is to be persecuted and targeted. And Israel, with Benjamin Netanyahu, they're trying to remove from office right now. And again, I was never even a fan of Netanyahu. I wasn't his enemy. I just wasn't studying it. Have come to America's aid to defeat this.
You can say what you want about Netanyahu, folks. He's not trying to overthrow the U.S. He's rooting for our economy. He's trying to support Trump. They're trying to remove him. Say what you want about Netanyahu. Everybody, it's so fashionable to hate Netanyahu and not know why. Just know this. There's large elements of the Israel lobby trying to stabilize the United States and actually trying to stop the complete race war overthrow of the country. Because, see, George Soros, it came out in documents last year in WikiLeaks and in others that he wants to overthrow Israel. So Israel finally gets it. That, okay, they want to overthrow Israel. They want to overthrow the U.S., they want to overthrow free market, and what, replace it with a bunch of Muslims killing each other? And now we actually have parts of the Israel lobby turning against Hollywood and the leftist lobby and turning against all those crazy self-hating Jews and other people in Hollywood and in D.C., and there is a civil war really going on inside the Israel lobby to a great extent. And like the cavalry, here comes Netanyahu over here actually, supporting what Trump's doing. It's the Israel lobby, the conservative Israel lobby, there's more than one, that is backing the tax cuts, backing the basic Trump agenda. And that's being done out of self-preservation because Jews in America are now waking up to this completely. And that is a powerful lobby and on average a wealthy group of people. And to have that whole group now against the globalist is just absolutely devastating. And so you're saying Rothschilds are backing Trump versus the eugenics-based Rockefellers?
Exactly. If you kind of look at the people behind...
I got told that my CIA sources 3 years ago. They said, oh, you're backing the Rothschilds. Watch what they're about to do. They're going to try to actually give wealth back to the people, not because they're even good. They don't want a total worldwide bloodbath.
And so I'm just revealing to you here on air that I was recruited by patriot elements inside the shadow government to take on a communist Chinese funding operation. It's not Russian.
I'm a stay-behind network for America. I'm fighting the Chinese globalist takeover. I'm fighting the Chinese globalist takeover. I'm fighting the Chinese globalist takeover.
Trump's administration's consideration of hiring a spy team of its own. And I'm also going to hear from, we're also going to hear from Alex Jones here in the first hour.
No, and Pat Riley with his son. Bring him on over.
Hey, can we get Alex a chair and mic, please? Come on, sit down, Alex. I actually want to know.
I'm going to leave, but listen.
Do you know about this, Alex?
Trump gossip editor rocked, or no, top gossip editor rocked by sex allegations. No, I don't know.
No, I'm talking about this story. Trump White House weighing plans for private spies to counter deep state enemies. So now they're going to be working with Eric Prince from Blackwater, and Mike Pompeo is basically going to set up his own team of spies to go against the anti-Trump people inside the Mueller administration.
Yes, I did know about that.
So it looks like they're going full bore, and they are.
What do
gonna
you
be
think you're
fighting
doing
back.
here, my friend? What do you think you're doing here, my friend?
Well, I thought I was working for Russia. What, are you telling me I don't work for Russia?
No, you work for QAnon. Put out a lot of exclusive info that was accurate, made a lot of predictions that were accurate up front. Then a lot of things started to be said that weren't exactly accurate or didn't happen. And then I noticed mainstream media and online, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube wouldn't block you when you were promoting that. And I thought, that's a little suspicious. But I talked to people I know in the military and others. They said, no, we know some of the people on those boards using that name. There's only 5 or 6 people. But then it started getting a little bit weird. And they said, no, somebody's hijacked it and basically hacked it and is using it and is now putting out disinformation. Like Zach, super good source. I know his full name, who he is. We got a lot of other big sources in the military. I mean, I've got sources, I'm not going to say from what units or groups, but the most elite, of the most elite, highest level, we have it. I'm going to leave it at that. CIA, Dev Group, Delta Force, you name it, all of it. Whole 9 yards. Because they're patriots. And they know what this country is in right now, where we're going. And Dr. Corsi's written 3 #1 New York Times bestsellers. He's changed elections. He's got amazing sources. He got told by the White House 6 months ago, hey, we like QAnon. But now that's not the case. And so I was on the phone this morning and talked to some folks who are out playing golf with people that have been involved in QAnon. They say, hey, that's been taken over. We're unable to even post anymore. That's not us anymore. And then Corsi was right on the same line 2 days ago in private conversations we had saying, hey, it's been compromised. Then I didn't even talk about it on air. Then I was separately told this by QAnon. So I'm going to say again, I've talked to QAnon. There's only about 5, 6 people that have actually been posting. I've talked to QAnon, and they're saying QAnon is no longer QAnon.
You're correct. I think the White House for a long time did support QAnon. I've been following it since December. And then periodically there would be cyber attacks and it would shift. It was clear that the QAnon identity was under attack. The real shift occurred really on April 28th. That's when I really began concluding that QAnon was now completely hijacked by a operation that had hijacked the identity and was starting to publish disinformation designed at destroying the movement and dividing the movement. The posts changed in quality in their content. We started to get attacks on people profiteering, making money. You know, you can't make any money on the patriot movement if you. So we started to see a
fog of confusion attacking the platforms. Yes.
And no leader, I mean, first of all, no leader like QAnon, why would you attack prominent spokespeople in the movement, attacking, me for writing a book and making money on writing a book? And so I began to get then just, inundated with troll type emails and postings on Twitter attacking me for profiteering. Even though I've been one of the most prominent supporters of Q, the whole movement began to turn on me.
And by the way, your book is about the conspiracy to overthrow the president with the fake Russiagate, nothing to do with QAnon, even though there's some in the book. So that's how the distraction began. So the identity got grabbed. You, one of the people promoting the original real QAnon, began getting demonized as the public spokesperson, basically, QAnon. I mean, that's what you've become. And so now we go the rest of the way. But I was told months ago it was compromised. The reason this is important, obviously, is QAnon was a good source. I talked to my military folks. They ferreted into it. They actually know some of the people involved with it. It was people acting on their own. They weren't giving out anything secret, but they were showing that they knew what was about to happen on some issues to get credibility. My concern was that could have been a setup to get people's confidence and then sit there and put out a bunch of disinfo. But then I talked to some others. They said, no, overall, those are some good people. But how they do it is they go into the 4chan, they hack it, they take down the links, they put out a fog, then they start attacking people that had been supporting the real QAnon to basically just destroy the entire thing and discredit it. And that's why I was always saying I'll focus on it, but my main focus is just public intelligence, human intelligence, the major trends, what we know is unfolding. And we know there is a war going on inside the deep state. So the narrative being put out by QAnon before was one of hope and truth and very, very positive. Now it's one of infighting and destruction. So I just think we should recap what's happened, get into the latest, and then basically stick a fork in the avatar of QAnon. It is now an overrun disinformation fount, Dr. Jerome Corsi.
Well,
I'll say this, too. I've been around 24 years. President Trump came on my show and said, your reputation is amazing. I will not let you down. No one knows who QAnon is. It's a bunch of people on 4chan and 8chan. It says some good things. It says some bad things. But even after I've tried to be nice to 4chan and 8chan and the whole Q thing, it comes out and says, Jones is a Zionist shill. He's going to get arrested. All this crap. Trump's daughter is married to an Orthodox Jew. Trump is pro-Israel, but you guys don't attack him because he's too big a target. But see that paradox of Q becoming anti-Semitic? That's not the real Q. If Q was ever real, we don't need a bunch of anti-Semitic crap, a bunch of anti-Israel stuff. That's a diversion. The Chi-Coms are the issue. The EU's the issue. The UN collapsing our borders the issue. Are there some bad Jews in the world? Damn right. There's some bad everything. I don't work for Israel. I'm not paid by Israel. I get attacked by a lot of the Jewish lobby. My God. But the idea that QAnon is attacking me constantly going, he's an Israeli shill, don't listen to him. Or maybe it's not even government agents at QAnon, they're Democrats. Maybe they're just people that think there's a set market of conspiracy, which there isn't. I'm trying to take the country and the world back. And so if we can knock Alex off, we'll be the ones people listen to. It's the death of logic and it's mental illness. Your reputation is amazing, Alex Jones. I will not let you down. President Trump, keep it up. You're doing a great job, Alex. The Capitol Police, the Secret Service all love me. I was able to bullhorn without a permit. I mean, what do you think's going on here? But the idea, again, how I'm being attacked from the rear by so-called QAnon, that's how I started going after QAnon, is they were attacking me. Again, who is QAnon? Oh, let's all just trust some anonymous thing that lays out breadcrumbs and says, as we all go, and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, fine. Just leave me alone. Let me go out and be a real person in the field, in the arena. And it just doesn't stop. And so, again, the question to QAnon, whoever it is, whatever groups that magically have, I could pose as QAnon online, start a website, and say whatever I wanted. It's crazy. It's nuts. We have the real people on. We have the Colonel Schaefer's on. We have the Ron Paul and Rand Paul's on. We have the Eric Bowling's on. We have, Tucker Carlson. We're fighting the globalists. We're for real. We're getting an effect. You know our name. You know who my daddy is, my mama is. You've seen them deplatform us. You've seen them come after us. And Q is just a secret critic. And people love riddles. And they love jigsaw puzzles. And they love this. And I've seen some really good stuff Q's put out. Whoever, it's a consortium. I've seen some bad stuff. It's like people used to ask, do you like Anonymous? And I said, a lot of good stuff comes out of Anonymous. Anonymous is anybody that's a whistleblower. So a lot of Anonymous is good. A lot of Anonymous is bad. And I think some of the lower IQ people out there just want something simple they can believe in to go along with. And it's very, very dangerous. That's all I'm saying. So we're going to go to break, come back and finish up with this powerful Trump piece. But Hillary Clinton still is in control of a lot of the bureaucracy with the Bushes. They everywhere. The fake Q movement says I'm this Mossad agent, all this bullshit. I've never even been to Israel. So imagine, like, from one end, I'm this Israeli agent. And then at the other end, I'm this Nazi.
I don't think you've ever done the Israeli story and been strong on that. You've always just been, I've never been there before. You're not, they've done some bad things, but they're, they've done a lot of good things.
It's like any country.
Yeah, sure.
It's like America. It's like, do you like America or do you like Israel? They've had different different agencies. They've had different presidents.
I agree.
Get a big picture. Connect it all. That's what the whole Q movement is about, is connect people coming together like a big hive to do research 24 hours a day and put it together for a great big picture that we can just go here. You don't believe us? Here. It's in a meme. It's all in a meme. So we were talking before about, I love Q. I love QAnon. I love that there are researchers, it's not everybody painting with a broad brush again, because a lot of them are real anti-Semitic. But the QAnon researchers who are searching government facts and real stuff, not mythological demons and all that stuff, they've done a great job to bring to the attention of the American people what really goes on in our name and with our money. And so, God bless Q, stay above the fray and keep it coming. Keep loving, keep searching, keep connecting all those dots. And pretty soon it'll just hit tipping point and all the bad will just float away.
Amen. Thank you, Rosanna. And we probably going to see
I do think Trump is Q+.
What happens is when Mashiach is made known, when Mashiach makes its presence known, the whole world is going to change. And what's going to happen is none of the old laws are going to apply, and there will be no more free will.